The mentor-mentee scheme is a capacity building, capacity development, and the sustenance of capacity within the Abuja MoU region. If you recall, the mandate of the MoU regime is to ensure that standard ships trade within the region, and that we should provide that safety net for the maritime environment within the region by harmonizing the inspection regime. So when you talk about harmonization, it's more of a level playing field. It's more of equal standards existing within the region. And so we realized that yes, there were a bit of disparity between the performances of certain countries and other countries within the region. And for us to really actualize that, the commission, we decided to think of a way of bringing them together, and that gave birth to the mentor-mentee scheme, to which the countries that are doing well were selected as mentors, both French-speaking and English-speaking countries, and then the ones that were struggling were picked up as mentee, and ours was to bring them together on either secondment, as in you bring the postal control officers from the mentee country to the mentoring country, or you take an instructor, what we call an instructor now, from a mentoring country to a mentee country to spend some time with the menteeing country. Both systems or approaches have their advantages and disadvantages. If you look at in terms of volume of reach, the volume of reach will be much more if you pick up a mentor and take to a mentee country, because then you can have 30 people to mentor. But the downside to that is that you only have 1 or 2 people you are transporting there. But if you bring in the postal control officers from menteeing country to the mentoring country, there's also the limit to how many people you can bring. Probably because of cost, maybe about 5 or 6 or 7 people, to which case these 5 to 6 people may now be exposed to over 10 or 15 mentors. So there are different advantages, and for us, we always go for which is the best cost in terms of cost effectiveness. Because the other aspect again is that in bringing them the mentees into the mentoring country, you also hope on what we call train the trainer, that this few you brought in here will go back to their country as trainers and then impact on others. There's also a downside to it. It's not everybody that's a teacher. Some people are better students than teachers, so they could come get all the facts, but in terms of disseminating it to others, they will struggle to get it right. But we'll look at both ways. And so we took this first one as the first stage, bringing the few here and let them get mentored. And probably the next phase will be get 2 mentors from Nigeria to Sierra Leone to spend some time with them and now oversee their performance. So it's a capacity building approach into upping our games, because every region and every country is supposed to inspect at least 15% of foreign ships calling at their country. IMO, the International Maritime Organization, has conventions, several conventions, and even the International Labour Organization has one which we've taken in, and we've selected the relevant ones for postage, and those are what we call relevant instruments. So currently we have 16 relevant instruments. What are the relevant instruments? There are conventions that will guide every inspection on board a vessel, and for you to have a complete spectrum of inspections, the postal control officer should be conversant with all the relevant conventions. So the syllabus that was presented to that was agreed covers the 16 relevant instruments to which the master postal control officers took them through it all before moving them on board the vessel. If I may digress a bit, the current agreement we're going to sign off with the EU, the European EMSA, the European Maritime Safety Agency, which is under EU, covers what they call rule check, a quick reference guide, which they will give us, which will also, because for every deficiency you point out, you just must link it up to a convention. Sometimes it takes so much time to scan through and say, oh, this is not right. So which is the best fit with respect to the convention? The rule check that we're going to get from EMSA will give them that quick guidance, So they were taken through the spectrum of the 16 relevant instruments, and I wish they were here for you to interview them, because the feedback we had from them were very positive, recommending that they want more of their staff to be exposed to this and other countries to be exposed to it, because their eyes were quite open. And in terms of volume, in Nigeria, we have a lot of ships coming in, different types and classes of vessels visit Nigeria. So they were exposed to the operations and the inspection of such vessels. The best would have been move all their postal control officers to Nigeria, get them to go through this, because for them that's also their own dream. But yes, you may desire to take it that way, and that may be the best option. However, like I said, the financial implication is quite high. If you look at the cost of flying them in, the cost of housing them in Nigeria, my thanks to the DG of NIMASA for absorbing certain aspects of the cost involved in the program. That really helped. You see, with respect to satisfaction, the greatest satisfaction was kickstarting the process, the project. It has been planned out. We were ready to kickstart the project. Thankfully, the DG of NIMASA gave us a notice. Hey, let's kickstart it, and we've started it. And like I said, it's been a project under consideration. This was also shared in the International Maritime Organization, the meetings we had of Triple I committee meeting, and then the recently concluded forum we had for all the secretary generals of the MOUs, and all the MOUs gave thumbs up to it. Indian Ocean said they are starting it. Caribbean Maritime, Caribbean MOU, and Black Sea MOU, they are all ready to kickstart it. So for once, we've taken the lead. And so that's, I mean, yes, it's something you look back and say, well, it's our brainchild. And we are happy because the MOU regime is like a family. Whatever Paris MOU is doing, if it is good, they will gladly share it with others. So in that meeting, we all shared initiatives we've had, and for all to follow. We also have initiative for port authorities, which they are all very happy to latch onto. We haven't had the inaugural session yet, but we are looking forward to any country, any port authority, if it's a Nigerian port authority, Ghanaian port authority, or Sierra Leone port authority that is ready for us to kickstart. We are ready to start that. Also, a workshop for port authorities. So it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling if your brainchild comes to fruition and is accepted by all. That's quite interesting, because we discussed in our meeting that, look, it's good to bring innovative ideas, but the worst thing that could happen to you is that, yes, you brought in some innovations and then you got stuck and you never brought in more. And that we should always, in fact, in our meetings, there's that section for, we actually call it business enhancement section, for all the staff to come with whatever ideas they have. We've also taken it to our committee meeting, because it's a family. So the 22 countries that when we meet, also there's also the section for anybody to bring up anything, any innovative idea, bring it to the table. We'll run with it. We will not take the credit. We'll pass the credit to whoever originated it, but make it work. So there's been a lot of progress, and 2022 is gone. 2023 we're in. I can tell you we're upping the game. We're upping the game. And if you look at our mission and our vision, it's clearly to be in the top quartile of the top performing MOUs, and we're aiming at that. And what's that going to be? You're going to be a pace setter. You're going to come up with some innovative ideas that other MOUs will emulate, will follow, and that gives you a good feeling. We want to move away from the aspect that, oh, African, we're always taking in and taking. We want to be giving out, and that's our aim. And we're not going to rest on our oars until we get to that top quartile and possibly be the topmost MOU. The thing about life is that yes, the father may train his child to a certain level, but when the child comes up to probably wants to lecture the father, it will be a case of, hey, I'm your father. What do you have to tell me? We had looked at that and we knew, look, we need to engage the policymakers. It's not just enough working on the postal control officers who are out there, the field workers. They need to have the support of the policymakers for the effectiveness of the MOU regime. And yes, I'm the Secretary General. We have the Secretariat fully, with the full support of all the ministers of blue economy or maritime transportation, whoever is overseeing the maritime administration. We have their support, but there's a limit to how much we can impress things on them. And so we said, hey, all of us listen to International Maritime Organization. So we engaged the International Maritime Organization to have a workshop for all the Director Generals. That was done in 2022. And we have pressed on again to say, look, there need to be a follow-up session. And it's been approved. It's in our MO budget that next year we're still going to have a follow-up workshop for the policymakers. And, if you have that sorted, the trainings for the postal control officer will become an easy thing, because there were a lot of commitments made in the first meeting. In the second meeting by next year, all the ministers will now tell IMO, this you said we should do, this is how much we have done. So we're going to set up a tracker to be monitoring their performances, to ensure that these things are being done. Because as he said, everybody must be involved. If you don't get the support of the policymakers, you're just wasting your time. And we also have what we call a update from the field. The postal control officers also revert to us with the challenges they have. We say, look, bring up your challenges. We are not going to mention your country, but in our committee meeting, the Bureau of Ministers meeting, we'll bring them up as updates from the field. These are the issues the field workers are having. Tackle them. And it has been quite effective. Even the postal control officers are very happy about that. We say, look, we're going to protect you because we know the hammer could be on you if you're coming out too vocal to bring up these issues. We will bring these issues with your ministers, and we are engaging them very well. And again, one of the things that for the region to be a complete safety net, you have to get all the countries to sign up as full members. Within this period, I've been around. We've had three member states that have signed up as full members. Just 3 days ago, you are the first to have the news. Equatorial Guinea signed up as full members. The vice president was there. The minister of transport was there to sign up as full members. So we still have 2 countries left, and I've given it as a task to the secretariat that by next year, we will get all the 22 countries signed up as full members. And of course, getting them in is one thing. Getting them to work is a big deal. It's a wonderful case study, but I'm going to be as objective as I can be in looking at all the sides. Certain things you cannot rule out, It's only God that can actually tell you the truth of with respect to corruption aspect, with respect to. However, in our trainings, I can tell you the same training the inspectors from China um, in Pacific MOU, the same inspection trainings that the other MOUs have are the kind of inspections we pass to apostate control officers. And so the clear thing is, guided by the approved code of conduct, the posted control officer should be professional, should be objective in the assessment, should always have one thing in mind, that safety of life is guaranteed, the welfare of the crew are guaranteed, the marine environment are protected. Let's go to the other issue. Some of the issues listed here are operational issues. It's a well-known fact that a new car driven out of the garage can actually develop a problem 1 hour after it's taken out of a garage, let alone a ship. When you're dealing with operational issues, anything could crop up. 20 days is a long time. And in fact, there have been cases that a vessel leaves a port, gets to the next port within a day, and then some operational issues could have crept in. That could have been the case. I am not saying the other aspect could not have been better. I just want us to have an open mind. Navigational lights, the lights in our houses. You could come in, switch on the lights tonight, wake up in the morning, try to switch on the light, the bulb is gone. Operational issue. Absolutely no. Ventilators, your air conditioners, all mechanical, having mechanical parts, any parts could actually probably get bad. But the thing about shipping is that on board the vessels, spare parts are being stored for crew to attend to critical instrument once there's a downtime. In fact, there should actually be a downtime by virtue of the preventive maintenance that they have on board. So it is possible for a vessel that left with clean bill to actually get to the next port and there are issues. But then again, if you look at the inspection regime, you have over 300 items to check during posted inspection. Is it possible for you to have an oversight in one? It's actually possible in some cases. The posted control officer may not really have full time to go through all, but we always highlight whatever time you have, critical items should have high priority over them. So that can also be part of it. So there are a lot of possibilities in these issues. But I always ask myself, I say, look, there's no way I will go on board a vessel and not pick up something. There's no way I will go on board a vessel and not pick up something. But then again, what do you pick? When you look at what you call deficiencies, there are 3-4 levels of deficiencies you have on board a vessel. Some are fix them now while I'm there. And so the guy can just fix it. And once it's done, you think it's done. There are some, probably if the country where the inspection is being carried out does not have the capability to manage the issue, could be fixed at next port. There are some fixed within a certain period. Of course, the critical ones are, you can't go, detention, code 30, you can't go, you just must fix. So those are the issues. So sometimes the fixed now issues, the posted control officer won't even make any comment because it's been fixed, it's been cleared. But of course, it's a good case study which we will take. I'll personally look at the report to clearly pick up the deficiencies that were picked up in China and compare to see whether there were critical things that probably could have been maybe due to oversight the posted control officer may have missed. But it's something we'll bring up to our committee meeting or the training of posted control officers to highlight to them that, guys, you have to stick on, you have to stay by go by the code. Let nothing untouched. treat every aspect as critical, in your assessment, you know. And because sometimes we actually, not sometimes, we actually tell them, if you don't have sufficient time to conduct an inspection, don't conduct it. Because once you conduct an inspection within the region, the vessel can pass uninspected for the next 6 months. And so don't give a blanket clearance for 6 months when you didn't have enough time to fully inspect the vessel. So it's a good point. I mean, I'll take this up as a case study, and then we'll take it further. But like I said much earlier, I'm not defending the postal control officer. If I pick up the postal controller, I will ask him and say, tell me how you could have inspected a vessel without picking up something.